Back to L to L. Welcome back to Little to Large Music Studio and Arrangements. Again, I am, I guess, your host and main instructor, of course, Alex Little. As you can see, again, we have my eldest daughter here. We have Jade Little. And if you followed our first video, which was very relaxed. I'm trying to keep these relaxed because I'm focused on her, but I'm also doing this for anybody that will be watching so that this is helpful to you. We're going to do this again, how to make a sound and put our reeds together on our mouthpieces. So we're going to grab our mouthpieces again. I'm going to finally bring in my daughter. She's going to hold her mouthpiece. And she's going to take her reed. Right now, you're going to focus on your reed, baby. So you can hold this in your left hand and just kind of let it rest right there. All right. We're going to take our reeds, and one of the things I also leave my students with, a tip for me I've always used since I was younger, is you don't want to oversaturate and oversoak your reed before you play or at any point. That's going to give you a warbly sound, almost like you're playing in a cup full of water in a swimming pool. But you don't want to undersaturate your reed, of course, because you're going to get squeaks out of your instrument if you have it play on a dry reed. Reeds should be moist. However, again, they shouldn't be overdone. So a good rule of thumb for me, it should probably take maybe a minute to soak that reed. And the way that I think about it is, the first thing I do, and I haven't done it on this video, is I take my reed once I'm about to play. So I'm opening my instrument to put it together like I've done here. I take my reed and I'm going to place it in my mouth and rest it on my tongue, between my tongue and the top of my mouth, and just let it rest. And as I put my instrument together, which should take no more than 2 minutes, closer to 1 minute as you get better at it, by the time I put my instrument together, my reed is soaked enough so that it's ready to play with a good sound. And so then again, it takes maybe a minute, maybe. As you get even better, you can get that done in less than a minute. And your reed is soaked well enough. And then so you can put your reed on the mouthpiece and then start making a good sound. All right, so right now we're going to take just a second. We'll probably cut away and things like that when this video is done. We're going to go ahead and soak our reed. So let's do that. You didn't touch the reed, did you, baby? While we're on this, oh my goodness. So my daughter is doing this live right now. Let's talk about reeds. So the part with the text on it in almost any reed has text, if you can see this, is the part that goes to the mouthpiece, the part that you do not see when it's on the mouthpiece. So I haven't gotten there yet. There is a kind of a thicker side of the reed here, and then there's a skinny side to the reed. The skinny side of the reed especially, you never, ever, ever want to touch, except when you're playing and it's inside your mouth. You don't touch the thin, skinny side of the reed. That's the front side, the most gentle, delicate part. Because you can't make a sound on your reed if it's broken. You cannot play at all. All right, it's like playing basketball without a basketball or without a hoop. You can't do it. All right, so that part goes into your mouth. The thick side is something you can hold on to and you can touch. So with that, we're going to now place the skinny, delicate side into our mouths and let it rest. All right, now flip it over. Good. Keep doing it. Now, while she's doing that still, keep doing that. Okay. Again, notice that was maybe 10 seconds, 15, if that. And because of expediency on this video, it doesn't take that long. I'm going to take the reed by the thick side that I can actually handle. Okay. And gently push my ligature up toward the tip of the mouthpiece. You can take it out now. So that might have been 30 seconds for her. And I'm going to gently, and you just wait on me, baby. Yeah, it's okay. I know. Just wait. I'll do it for you. We're going to push that reed down here into that ligature. Even if this was a metal ligature, we're going to gently push it down. Keep your fingers away from the tip. Keep them away. It's a lot of kind of going back and forth with getting the reed flush to the tip. However, by keeping your ligature straight. And that is a complicated process. You just kind of learn over time how to do one and the other. So this is about putting our mouthpiece on and making sure that that reed is perfect to the tip as I'm trying to get it in frame. It should not be over the tip. That's not going to give you a good sound. It shouldn't be off center. The reed should not be off center. You're going to get a horrible sound. You're not going to get really any sound from there. Okay? And so it needs to be flush so that when you press your finger in gently, it is, and I'm trying to get myself in frame, then that reed looks like a picture perfect. It covers the tip of that mouthpiece up. Generally, you have a line on your mouthpiece that can guide you. Keep your ligature behind that line. And different people have kind of different, every person is slightly different. There are good policies and kind of guidelines as to what to do about ligatures, and I'll kind of come back to that at a later video. All right, and then basically, this is the way that you want your saxophone or clarinet mouthpiece to look if I'm trying to get everything in frame. Okay, all right, let me, and from there, real quick, you'll take your instrument, and because I'm trying to keep it in frame, gently grab again. Stay away from your keys. Okay, so grab a little bit of your top joint, but I guess sort of mostly barrel, and gently twist and push. Everything is a gentle twist and push. All right, this clarinet doesn't have very good corking on, so it kind of went right in. All right, we'll do yours. Let me see it. Yes, baby. You are. You're okay. Everything we're doing right now is just for you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It won't hurt you. But you touched this reed, didn't you? You touched it up there, didn't you? Yeah. Probably going to get some squeaks from that. Right now, Daddy does not have a different reed for you, so we'll just tough it out. We'll see how it goes. Get one later. All right, so I don't know if you remember. This is a ligature. It's holding on a reed. And that's both sitting on the mouthpiece, the part that we put in our mouth. That's black and it's plastic. Okay. And then obviously this is our clarinet. Okay.
It's like the clarinet I have.
That's a recorder. All right, turn around. Let's face this way. All right, so first off, I'm going to model for my daughter. Now we want to talk about sound. All right, we just want to talk about embouchure placement on a mouthpiece. And generally, everything that I say here can, for the most part, relate to a saxophone mouthpiece. The biggest difference is the oral cavity and how much we're going to place on this mouthpiece. How much mouthpiece are we going to place in? This is similar to a soprano saxophone mouthpiece on a saxophone. So it's not that big. An alto saxophone mouthpiece is a little bit bigger. That means you're probably going to use a little bit more of your mouth. The tenor saxophone mouthpiece is definitely bigger, and a bari sax mouthpiece or bass saxophone mouthpiece is going to take up a lot more mouth. We're going to use a lot more. We'll have to open our mouths even wider. All right, the smaller, then it's just kind of petite. All right, we're not taking up a lot of our mouth. It's less uncomfortable in a way, less expansion of the jawline. All right, but they all beyond that kind of play by the same rules. First thing, as I explained to my daughter in the last video, the top of the mouthpiece is where our teeth go. They go down there. But never, ever, ever do we put our teeth on the bottom side where the reed is, because we're going to get an ugly feeling. It's going to shiver. It's going to shake. And it is not used to make music. It's going to have an ugly sound. It's going to be like a crazy honking, hurt instrument in the woods somewhere. Okay, instrument, animal in the woods. All right, so we roll our bottom lip gently and slightly over our bottom teeth. And do you remember what the word we used to do that? Okay, good. You do remember. Say it to the camera. You don't have to formulate it. Say that word. What's that word?
We.
We. So if we say that word, it generally puts and we follow that concept, it will put our lip muscles in the proper position. So that is we. And we freeze. We. Do it for her. You just did it. Good. So hold on. Don't move. So she has a flat jawline, on the mandible, a flat chin. She has a flat chin, and if she touches it with her fingers, she's going to feel very bony. It won't feel very fatty with a lot of tissue and meat. We're going to feel bone down there instead of the meat. The other piece is it will bring her corners firm. It will bring her corners firm, and then those corners from the side can grasp on in to the center of what's basically a wheel to the mouthpiece. They're going to come in and they're going to suck in like a vacuum to that mouthpiece to keep all the air inside. We don't want the air to seep out the corners. So if your air is seeping out of your corners and you can feel it and it's putting spit there, like I used to do when I was a kid as a first-time player, that's not a good thing. Get those corners going into the center of the mouthpiece. Keep your chin flat, and it'll keep you in tune no matter how old you are and no matter how many years you have experience with playing your instrument. Okay, and it comes from that we, and you keep your teeth at the top. So we'll try to do that and make a sound. I'll do it first. We're going to bring in some air. Just like that. Bring in the air, expand. We'll do a whole breathing video, and then push it out through the camera, push it across the room through the wall. So I'll do that. You set the embouchure, you bring the mouthpiece in, generally about halfway up that mouthpiece. Okay. And there, we release that air and make sure it's firm, almost like a medical equipment, almost like medical equipment in the hospital. That make sure that medical equipment is working, and that we're working, that we have good organs, okay? So with that being said, one thing I should say in breathing, we keep our teeth on the top of the mouthpiece, but we drop our jaw. That way, when we start playing again and our jaw comes back up to release that air, it's minimal effort to keep a firm embouchure and a great sound. Okay, so I'll do that one more time. You want to do that with me, baby? All right. So I set the mouthpiece by putting your teeth on the top. Okay. You have to use more mouthpiece, a little bit more. Keep it in the center. Okay, first off, sit up for me, nice and tall. Okay, good. Okay, now you're going to drop your jaw and breathe in. No, drop your jaw. And then bring it back up. Okay, so watch Daddy one more time. Okay? All right. Okay, not the best start to that particular one, not the best start. I want you to try for me. Focus straight ahead, not at me. And breathe and push. Okay, that we have a bad read, so I'm okay. I expected that. Do it one more time and move that air. All right, try it again. Oh, no. Don't start with it out here. Set it on those teeth. Set it on those teeth. Good. And now bring everything in. Yeah, push. Good. There you go. Now, roll the bottom lip in just a tad bit more. Roll it over those bottom teeth just a tad bit more. Put your mouthpiece in. And push it. That's it. You just got to try it again for me. And then, so we're going to start getting into this instrument. All right, watch me one more time.
I know.
Watch me. And do it with me. Okay, hold on. Let me see those teeth up there. Okay, good. Okay. Now we're going to bring in those corners and bring up the jawline after we take in some air. Watch me. Okay? You do it. You have to put your teeth there. All right. The only thing that's not there is your bottom jaw. And then put your bottom jaw there and push that air. That's better. All right. So from here, we can identify a few issues. We don't want to breathe so hard in terms of releasing the air that our jaws are ever puffed out. No instrument in anyone's bedroom. You're probably never going to meet a teacher that says you should have your jaws puffed out like you're eating a bunch of food. Good chips. Never. Keep those jaws flat. Keep them flat. Keep the embouchure firm, but keep the corners into that mouthpiece. Okay? All right. And again, what it should look like? All right, try it again for me. Okay, first, oh, your mouthpiece is upside down. All right, put your teeth there. Put your teeth there. We're only dropping the bottom jaw, and then bring it back up and push some air. All right, that's good. Too much mouthpiece, a little too much mouthpiece. Try again. We roll that bottom lip in, baby. Good. Okay, now we just got to move some air and keep all those muscles in. Think about sour candy. All that sour candy we've been eating. Bring the muscles back to you. Bring them back to you. Good. More mouthpiece, baby. More mouthpiece. Yes, yes, that's good. Push. Push that air. Almost, Jay. You're not setting those teeth up top. You need to set those teeth up top. That's really good. Take some air in. Why aren't your teeth here? Your mouthpiece can't be out here. You need to set it. Look at me. Look at that. Relax. Watch me set those teeth. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Now I can breathe. My mouthpiece shouldn't be here and I'm trying to breathe. Set it right here. Now I can breathe. Make those teeth touch that mouthpiece. Okay, sit up. Turn it toward the camera. Good. Okay, you're just overblowing where you're getting your cheeks puffed out. All right, well, that means we don't need that much air. That's just going to give you a headache. Okay? Better. Hold on to this. All right. So we're going to move forward in this video, and we're going to talk about actually taking this. And so I've used a certain book here that I've been using in my band room for some time. There are a lot of great books. And for a lot of years, I have used a lot of different, and I'm talking about beginning students here. So I'm not gearing this video right now toward advanced collegiate students or semi-professionals, obviously, or intermediate students. To some degree, this is more so geared right now toward beginning intermediate students than it is the student who already knows how to play and they have a lot of years under their belt. And that should be pretty obvious because I'm talking about basics in terms of embouchure placement and things like that, hand placement. Okay, with that being said, the book that I'm going to reference is a book called Standard of Excellence. I've used Essential Elements. I've used some other books out there, a lot of good old method books, as well as Arbor's Method and things like that. But what I often use and what band rooms that I often go into, particularly in the state of Georgia and Metro Atlanta, not that all of us use the same books, but that a lot of school systems and districts have funded in the time that I've been teaching since the early 2000s has been the Standard of Excellence method. And so for me, if it were to come between Accidental Achievement, Essential Elements, and Standard of Excellence, that's the one that I'm most kind of used to, but not just used to, but I find that overall the methodology and the different aspects of teaching philosophy that I vibe with the most and that I believe I have gotten the best success out of. I believe all of them are basically equal. They use a lot of the same songs and things like that. They just kind of put it in a different order within those books. So the Standard of Excellence book is the one that I'm going to reference for the most part, probably in this series of dealing with my daughter and also dealing with you all. So feel free. A lot of those books are about $7 to maybe $10, depending on how you buy them. Amazon, going to your local music store and things like that. All right. So I'm going to talk about the Standard of Excellence book right now. And we're going to talk about the first note that it teaches. The first note that it teaches the clarinet. And I believe this is page 4 in this book. Let me double check here. Let me see. I have it right beside our camera. All right, I believe this is page 4. It's page 5. Okay, it's a little hard to see. It's page 5. It says the first note. Okay, and so I'm going to start right there. So if you wanted to read along and you have that book in front of you, you can read along beside me and my daughter. And the first note at the very top, I love these books. They give you your staff, your treble clef staff. For us, we're using the Clarinet book and things like that. And they talked about how to read basic things, which again, I will also address here, but I'm going to address in future videos. So one of the basic things it talks about is just a whole note. Okay, just a whole note. And also a whole rest, like a hole in the ground. Okay? Yes, baby. Okay, don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm not all the way in frame. Okay, but so we're looking at number 1, and number 1, Jay, tell us. All of them have a manila box to the side, sort of that off yellowish color. What is the note that it tells us to play if we look at this little box here, baby? Can you see that? What's the letter we see there? All right, so let's try this again. All right, so we have a G, right? And that's an excellent answer by a bright young lady. Can you count our lines here? How many lines do we have on any staff?
5.
Good job, 5 lines. All right. Can you count the spaces between the lines? How many spaces do you think we would have between those lines?
Starting from that one.
Starting from the bottom and working up the page. Okay, we have 4. It's okay. We have 4. Let's take a look at it. So there's, if I can enlarge this, it's just hard to see on our tablet here. We got 1 under the G, right? 1 space. It's all full of white, right? Then 2 above the G, right? And then 3 above that next line. And then 4 at the very top. Does that make sense now? Let's try this again. So to make a staff, we have how many lines?
4.
How many lines? How many black lines?
5.
5. Awesome. Now how many white spaces do we have? Set up, baby.
4.
Good job. 4 spaces. All right. Now, we also see that this is a G. Okay? On a clarinet, as we talk about how to hold it again, the first thing is to, and a saxophone, is to use our thumb rest here at the back. Our right hand is at the bottom, so that's on that bottom stack, that low stack. Put your right thumb there to the first joint between the nail, the bottom of the nail, and the first joint. Okay? And then we have 3 tone holes. 3 tone holes that we want to press. 1, 2, and 3. That's where these fingers go. They never slide down. They never slide up. They don't clasp anywhere else. They just cover those tone holes. And then when they're not, they simply rest right above them, just above them. Sometimes in my band room, I will do it a little extra so that my students know that we're not pressing a tone hole. But I'll tell them, you don't play like that. We never go up further than maybe a quarter or half an inch above the tone hole. I just try to show them that they can see across the room that this is where the fingers belong and they rest even when we're not using them. So you see that, baby? Even when we're not using them, that's where our fingers are going to rest. And it's the same for the left hand. The left hand, we have this 1, 2, and 3 on the left hand. 1, 2, and 3 for those main fingers. Our index finger, our middle fingers is 2, our 2, and then our ring finger is number 3. Okay? The thumb can only go on the left, on the top stack, can only go on the register key or the F key in the back. Okay? And if we're not using it, it simply rests right above it, just like the front. And that's tough, but to make that happen, we rest the instrument in our mouth so we can hold the instrument like this. But we don't play an instrument like this. It's just showing that our mouth is a point that we hold the instrument up with, as well as our thumb rest on the right hand. Those are our major points to where we hold this instrument up, like so. You can watch me because you are going to do this. Okay? Right hand at the bottom, and then we rest it in our mouth. Funny enough, notice I'm not pressing any keys at all on this instrument. And to do that, our book tells us it's all unshaded holes there on the side in the diagram. That means you're playing a G. So we're already, without pressing any keys, going to play a G. We play a G in whole notes, and it's going to sound like this. 1 and 2 and ready and rest. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And our last note, 2, 3. And it's over. So you're going to play the G as well. My daughter, and this is where we're going to wrap this video up. She's going to play a G as well. I'm going to get her to hold the instrument. She'll do the best that she can. All right, put those feet nice and flat. Okay, we're going to take your mouthpiece. I'll do it for you today. We're going to gently twist and push. The reed is going to be in alignment with your register key. That is a non-negotiable. Okay. All right, let's take that right hand and put it under our thumb rest. That's your main point for holding up a clarinet. You keep the bell near your knees. All right, and we got to rest it in our mouth. We're going to just kind of leave our left hand up here, and let's try not to press any keys. Okay. Well, you're a little short. Sit up to the edge. Whoa, sit up to the edge of that chair. No, edge, baby. Get your backside all the way up. There you go. Good. Come up more. Come up more. Good. Stop. Now get your back straight off the chair. Thank you. There we go. All right. You're a little short. My daughter's only 6, so all right. Rest it in your mouth. Rest it on your bottom lip. Good. Now let's get our fingers off of the keys. It's always the hardest thing for a clarinet player to do this part. All right. And remember, just the way we brought it in the air, and we're going to release it. You got to sit up a little bit. Put right there. That's perfect. That's perfect. Straight back. All right. You're going to breathe and push. That's the sound we want. 1 and 2. Do it again. Make it better. 2, 3, 4. Silence. 2. Do it again. That's good. Ready? Breathe. 2, 3, 4. Silence. Do it again. Breathe. 2, 3, 4. Good. Keep your teeth down, baby. Don't move those teeth. Do not let them get away from that mouthpiece because you're having to reset every time. Keep your teeth down. 1 and 2 and breathe. Push. 2, 3, 4. That's good. 2. Breathe and push. 1. Put your feet flat. Ready and breathe. 2, 3, 4. Last time. 2 and breathe and push. 2, 3, 4. Good. Good. Now we're just going to rest this right over your lap. Yeah, I know. Just put your hands right here. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Make sure the reed doesn't hit this chair. Okay. It's good. And relax. All right. So as you can see, this is lesson number 2. And this was the first time that my daughter Jade here was able to know what note we're playing. And we were actually utilizing a textbook and talking about the notes on the staff. So do we remember what note is this we've been playing this time?
The first one?
The what note is it though? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Which one of those notes is it?
G.
Good. We see it in the book. So for clarity, G is the second. It's on the second line from where our feet are going up to our head that we see in the book. So it's on the second line. All right. And that is, again, the book tells us at the top of the page on lines is every good boy does fine or every good boy deserves fudge. It depends on how your teacher teaches it in your band room. But we did finally get that good sound out as she's trying to understand how to hold it up. A clarinet that's almost as tall as her and how to kind of keep the embouchure together but sit up straight. It's a lot of stuff you got to think about and breathe and not touch those tone holes on an open G. All right. So hopefully you've enjoyed this lesson with us. We will see you back here again as we will cover, again, basic piano practices, as well as continue to cover basic clarinet practices at this time before we talk about any other instruments. And it's been fun. Any questions or concerns, put those in the comments, send those messages to me. And especially for those aspiring students who would like to have one-on-one instruction, that would be great. Message me and we'll see if we have a space in the studio. Have a good and blessed